For reasons that make sense only when you're in the business of frightening the living daylights out of populations, the palette for colouring the weather maps has been changed from the familiar life-affirming greens and blues to the angriest of oranges, reds, purples and black. Dotted throughout the incinerated hellscapes are the numbers predicting daily temperatures. The news reporting has been at least as hysterical as the weather forecasting. So far, the combined desperation of disaster journalists for thermometer-busting record temperatures has not been enough to push the numbers over the line. But it's only July, and there's a lot of summer still to go. Having already gone to purple and black, presumably the coverage of any actual new records will have to be accompanied by graphics of cities in flames and boiling oceans.
That's brilliant. It's a really good one-liners, right? Dawson, one of his latest live streams on Rumble, said, look, you live in a zoo or a wildlife reserve, you got to have a gun.
Feverish has been the reminding of the record temperature set in Sicily in 2021 when the mercury hit 48.8 degrees centigrade, which is 119.4 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's at least worth remembering there's nothing new under the sun, including extreme warmth. To take but one source, almost at random, Gaillard's Medical Journal, published in New York all the way back in 1884, carried a story about hot weather. The author went on to list extremes recorded as far back as 627 AD, when, quote, the heat was so great in France and Germany that all springs dried up. Water became so scarce that many people died of thirst. 993, when the sun's rays were so fierce that vegetation burned up as under the action of fire. In 1000 AD, quote, rivers ran dry under the protracted heat. The fish were left dry in heaps and putrefied in a few hours. Men and animals venturing in the sun in the summer of 1022 fell down dying. On and on it goes, 1132, 1139, 1200, 1277. In 1303 and 1304, the Rhine, Loire and Seine rivers ran completely dry.
So those states he was talking about there, he does mention other ones, but they were during the medieval warm period, which lasted from about 900 to 1300. So it's 400 years of a warm period. I took these screenshots quite a while ago. I was going to get around to making a video, but I never did. But after I saw Neil Oliver's presentation, I thought this ties in with it. So if you want to use a big landmass as a reference point, so this was on Greenland. So the Vikings lived there over that period, and they had longer growing seasons. They had meadows, they were grazing sheep, cattle, goats. So after the warm period, the climate began to cool, and the geologists think that it was due to a 1257 eruption of a volcano on the Indonesian island of Lombok. So obviously all the material thrown up into the sky. It took about 40 or 50 years, but eventually it started to cool down the climate at the end of the medieval warm period. Because the Vikings had to leave Greenland. At the bottom there you can see they've cut out the sea ice, but this is so you can see Greenland today. Just the landmass is covered with ice. There's no meadows. So it's a lot colder now than it was during the medieval war period for that 400 years. And no one was driving around in cars back in those days. So what's the whole idea of, stopping someone, keeping someone within 15 minutes of their home? They can't drive any further because they're worried about it. Well, look, if you see announcements in the local council papers and signs that they're going to be putting up cameras, and actually, look, Melbourne's got 20-minute cities, so they might not have as big a beef as the rest of us. By the way, it's only 800 metres. If you watch my prior video, it's not very far. You just write back to them with graphics like this. Look, without cars even being in existence, it was a lot hotter. Quote the dates by Neil Oliver in that publication, and say to them, look, when there's meadows in Greenland and there's cows and sheep and goats, and then it's hotter than that point, indicating that, okay, maybe my car is contributing to it. Then, and only then will I pay one of your stupid fines. Oh, it's just ridiculous. It's a great video by Neil Oliver. Him and a few other people are going really well. All right, that's it for this one.